Hey everybody, it's Zach. I got a haircut. Happy New Year, and I like movies. And for New Year's resolution, I decided to do a new theme for the channel. And I'm partaking in a Letterboxd challenge for the Criterion collection. This is the Letterboxd Criterion challenge of 2024. There are a series of 52 categories. The goal is to watch any Criterion film based on those categories between New Year's Day and New Year's Eve. And you can watch them in any order you want. Watch it monthly, weekly, however you want. They could be released from 4K all the way back to Laserdisc, or they could have been released on the Criterion channel streaming service at any point. But it's probably preferable if you do watch Criterion releases, official Criterion releases, and preferable if you can make sure that they're first watches too. So I think this could be fun. I think, and I also want to make this channel also be like a recommendation point. I always pride myself in being the guy who like recommends people movies that you might not see like regularly. That if you like this mainstream movie, you should watch this a little more obscure, smaller movie and stuff like that. I always love doing that. So here we go. These are the categories. I'll make a review of each of these. I will try to do this do each of them at least once a week. Who knows? Maybe some of these are like kind of biggies. I might need to like take a day to like do just research and talk about it. But whatever. I'm going to do a review for all of these. So starting off, number one. Choose anything between spy number 351 and 450. And I chose Les Dolos. This is a Jean-Pierre Melville movie that is like, it sounds exactly like, and if you know what a Jean-Pierre movie is, you know exactly what that might entail. You got guns, you got gangsters, you got a heist, and it's got all drenched in film noir shadows. It's definitely up my speed, and it's French. It's fun. Number two, pick a spy number between 601 and 700. I went with Shallow Grave. This was basically the same team that brought you Trainspotting. This is director Danny Boyle, producer Andrew McDonald, screenwriter John Hodge. It also has Ewan McGregor in, I think, his like first big movie role. So that sounds like it could be a lot of fun. Number three, watch a film with a rating of 4.3 or higher. I chose Women in the Dunes. This has been one of those like essential art house titles that I've been hearing about for a while, about as long as I've like been aware of those essential like art house essential titles. But I really have to take notice because Hideo Kojima recommended it in his Criterion Closet video, and I, noted Kojima stan, must follow suit. So number four, the first film on my Letterboxd watch list, that's Sancho the Bailiff. This is another one of those art house essentials out of Japan, from a notable work from one of the golden age of Japanese cinema masters, Kenji Mizoguchi. Number five, most recently added film on your watch list, I went with Red River. This is a classic Hollywood Western by Howard Hawks, and it's a John Wayne Western too. So went for a lot of like masculine posturing with that. I can only expect. Number six, this is a biggie. This is the longest runtime in your watch list. I'm doing War and Peace. Just all of War and Peace. That sounds intimidating, but I have seen all of Showa in mostly one sitting. I've also seen all of Satin Tango in one sitting, more or less. So I'm not quite as intimidated as I would have been maybe a year ago. So yeah, that'll be a full day. Number seven, the most popular film on your watch list, that will be Triangle of Sadness. That was the Palme d'Or winning satire by Ruben Östlund, out of I think he's Danish, I believe. It's big satire on class warfare and status culture. It got a couple of Oscar nominations, including Best Picture. The year it came out, I think it was like 2021. So number eight, choose a movie from the Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project. I knew just what to do. The Housemaid. That is a psychosexual revenge melodrama out of South Korea in the 1960s. Super, super. So yeah, that's been on one of those like that's been on my like radar for a while now. Number 9, choose from the Criterion staff picks. I went with Ricky O, The Story of Ricky. I've not seen this, but it boasts to be ultra violent, ultra badass, super hardcore action movie that boasts the goriest movie climax in any action movie. So, all right, I trust you on that. Number 10, choose a New York Film Festival favorite, and I chose a very big one, A Woman Under the Influence. This is one of the most celebrated movies by the indie cinema giant John Cassavetes, and this would also be my first John Cassavetes. I'm a terrible cinephile. I'm a dedicated cinephile, but I'm also a lazy one, and I also procrastinate. But I repeat myself. So, number 11, watch a film in the Saturday Matinee series, Observations on Film Art. There are a couple of ones I want to go with. I could have gone with Shoot the Piano Player or My Brilliant Career, but I chose an Agnes Varda movie, Vagabond. I'm going in pretty blind in that one. And I had to choose that one because I got her big Essentials collection somewhere up on that shelf. You kind of see it. It's right there. And I barely put a dent in that. But hey, that's such as story of our lives. Number 12, we have First Films, watching a directorial debut. And I chose Patar Panchali. Hope I pronounced that right. This is the first film by the Indian director Satyajit Ray, and last year I watched his film. I finally watched a movie from him last year called Devi, and I thought that was absolutely amazing. A very spiritual movie, a very powerful movie, a devastating movie. So I knew I have to dig more into his filmography. I can't wait for that. And 13, virtually reality is the prompt, not virtual reality. Very specific. This is mean to choose a movie that blurs the lines between fiction and documentary. And I chose Symbiotoxicoplasm Take 1. Now, that's a weird movie to describe. Even people who've seen it kind of struggle describing it. Basically, a film crew is like filming a scene multiple times in different days with different actors, and they're trying to figure out how to film it and trying to figure out what movie to make. And there's a documentary crew that's filming the film crew, and then the documentary crew and the film crew kind of like make their own movie on the side, I think. It sounds wild, and I can't wait to see it. Again, that's another like big title in like an art house circle. Number 14, random number generator. Just you hit Google, you go to Google, put random number generator 1 through whatever the latest Criterion spine number they got, and I wound up with 652, Monsieur Verdoux. This is a late career black comedy by the great silent master of silent cinema Charlie Chaplin, about where he plays a serial killer, and it's delightful. I've not seen this in a couple of years, so I think a rewatch is in order, and it'll be pretty fresh. Number 15, Technicolor. There was really only one crew that I wanted to see a Technicolor film from. That is Emmerich Pressburger and Michael Powell. They are just pioneers and masters of Technicolor, especially their collaborations with Jack Cardiff. But I'm choosing one that they didn't work with Cardiff with. That is one of their first big Technicolor projects, The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. I have that somewhere over there. Number 16, Women Auteurs. This was a little tough to pick because I could have easily gone with another Varda joint. I could have gone with Virgin Suicides by Sofia Coppola, or one of the 2 movies released by Criterion by Celine Sciamma, or there's Eve's Bayou and Berkman's Island by Mia Hansen-Løve. But I went with Working Girls. This is a movie about sex workers that really deglamorizes sex work as if it was just another day at the office. Really, really radically non-judgmental depiction of prostitution for the time that came out. It was like 1986. So Very excited for that. Number 17, choose from Criterion Sight and Sound. I went with another big one, Ugetsu. This is another Kenji Mizoguchi essential, and Martin Scorsese, the God, is a very big fan of this, so I have to watch that. Number 18, from the prompt Dreaming of a Holiday Movie Marathon, I went with Metropolitan. This was one of the great American independent movies out of the 90s. Apparently it's a romantic comedy in New York, in the New York Debutante Society. Sounds a little bit like, it seems very dialogue heavy, kind of like, before trilogy meets, I don't know, Love Actually? I don't know. A lot of these are blind watches. I don't really know much about them. Number 19, we'll watch a Netflix original released by Criterion. I chose Mudbound. It's a movie from 2017 about the Jim Crow South and World War II that boasts a really stacked cast from I think like Joel Edgerton to like Mary J. Blige. So that's interesting. So that it's definitely a lot of meat there. Carey Mulligan too. Wow. All right, number 20. Choose from the 100 Years of Olympic Films set. I went with Tokyo Olympiad. This is supposed to be one of the great sports movies of all time. It was a lot of various shooting around the 1964 Tokyo Summer Games. 21, an LGBTQ plus film. I had some tough choices, but I went with BPM, aka Beats Per Minute. This was a favorite out of Cannes. I don't think it won the Palme d'Or, but I think it won something like the Grand Prix. And it's a movie about the ACT UP activist group in France, and they staged protests against pharmaceutical companies who were like doing nothing to take any action about the AIDS epidemic. So, that's a lot of, there's like history there and stuff. So that could be really good. Okay. 22, something directed by Louis Buñuel. This is this is a legendary surrealist and absurdist filmmaker, and I chose one of his big ones, The Exterminating Angel. It is about a group of high society friends who have a dinner and then they can't leave. Number 23, we watch a movie directed by Mai Zetterling. This was apparently a Swedish actress turned director that I had not heard about before Criterion put out a set of like 3 films. I want to say last year maybe, but that's kind of the joy of companies like Criterion and Janus and Arrow Video, where they just bring these obscure titles and unheard of filmmakers to wider audience. And so I'm very excited about that. I chose her 1966 movie Night Games. Number 25, Italian neorealism. This is one of the big big waves of filmmaking in all of his filmmaking history. And I went with Miracle in Milan. This was from a renowned Italian neorealist, Vittorio De Sica. That was actually his follow-up to a heartbreaking movie, Bicycle Thieves. And the Miracle Milan, by all the descriptions, it sounds playful, it sounds imaginative, really heartwarming, which is a little odd coming from the guy who made a really down-to-earth and sad movie like Bicycle Thieves. But hey, could be fun. Looks like a lot of fun. I skipped out 24. Movie starring Liv Ullmann. She was a regular of Ingmar Bergman, so I had to pick a biggie from Ingmar Bergman, and I went with Cries and Whisper. This was a movie from the 70s, I think, and I'm pretty sure it was also his first color movie. A very infamously red movie. All right, number 26, Hong Kong Cinema. And oh my God, there is so much I could have chosen from. I could have gone any of the great Wong Kar-wai movies. I could have gone one of the John Woo movies, like his earliest movie, Last Hurrah for Chivalry. I could have gone with, hell, even any of the Bruce Lee essentials. But I went with the Heroic Trio. This has got Maggie Chun. This has got Anita Mui, and it's got Michelle Yeoh. And they are kicking ass. They're beating up cannibals. They're doing crazy wire work. The trailer looks goddamn amazing, and it looks like a blast. All right, 27, Made in Brazil. I only had two to choose from, and I went with a movie called Pijoti. It seems to be about a Brazilian youth trying to live in poverty amongst the Brazilian military dictatorship. It's another one that's part of like one of Martin Scorsese's World Cinema projects. So yeah. 28, pick from Ari Aster's Closet Picks. I went with Mr. Klein. This is a very twisty and very chilling World War II movie where the very talented and incredibly handsome Alain Delon is caught. He's caught in like a weird mystery of mistaken identity where he might have a duplicate, but the duplicate doesn't seem to exist. It's a very Ron Man kind of thriller within sort of this Kafka-esque fascist Italy. I think it is. That looked very, very interesting. So 29, a pick from the Closet Picks of the band Yola Tango, and I was very tempted to do I Want to Hold Your Hand because that's early Robert Zemeckis, and I love me some early Robert Zemeckis, but I went with the Monterey Pop Festival. Now it is one of the great concert films. It's got the performances by really just a who's who of late 60s, early 70s megastars. You got Jimi Hendrix, you got The Who, you got Janis Joplin, and Simon and Garfunkel, and I could go on. After that, number 30, pick from one of Charlie Day's Closet Picks. He had a lot of ones that I already saw, but I decided on Shadows. This was John Cassavetes again. This was his first independent movie. So yeah, that's a big one. Number 31, Michael Shannon's Closet Picks. I went with Being John Malkovich. I actually have not seen this in a long time, mostly because I remember not liking it that much. Not because it wasn't like uncreative or like a poorly made movie or anything. I just remember not really liking any of the characters and not being able to root for them. So I think a rewatch is in order. Really need to give that another shot. I was a wee baby cinephile, just starting to break out into like other various fields of like what movies are outside of like the mainstream American stuff and all that. Number 32, I have to pick from Aubrey Plaza's top 10. She has a lot of good ones. I really wanted to include the Pedro Almodovar movie Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, but I went with Wanda. This is the first and sadly only feature film by Barbara Loden, who she wrote in it, she starred in it, she directed it, and it's described as very cinematography, borderline documentary style movie of a woman drifting across the country, getting wrapped in bad situations. Seems like a movie that really needs more eyes on it. Number 33, pick from Anthony Bourdain's Roadrunner. Pick from Anthony Bourdain's top 10, R.I.P. I went with The Battle of Algiers, and that is a movie that I really need to watch more often than I do. 34, from Alan Arkin's top 10. I have seen basically everything on his top 10, all but one, and it's called The Horse's Mouth. I don't know what that is. It stars Alec Guinness. It looks like a comedy. All right, that's not much more to say about that. Number 35, pick from Tunde. I hope I don't butcher this name. Tunde Adebimpe's top 10. I went with a late Akira Kurosawa movie, Dreams. It's one of his later movies. I've not seen much of it. I've seen, I think, maybe the trailer, maybe a scene. It is very beautiful to look at. It's the color, like Kurosawa's colors are really incredible, very painterly. All right, number 36, made for TV, and I went with a movie from 1964 called The Killers, and it is kind of interesting being a remake of a film noir from the 1940s. It's on a set up there somewhere. and I'm gonna have to watch the original The Killers. And interesting that this seems to be the movie that sort of like kind of kickstarted the thing of made-for-TV movies, presumably. I'll know it when I see it. Number 37, big A. The genre is family, a little broad, but I went with The Black Stallion. This is a movie that I have not seen since I was in elementary school. I remember reading the book in class. I even remember watching this movie. I remember very few bits and pieces of it. I remember like the boy meeting the horse. I remember the boat being on fire. I remember parts of the boy and the horse being on the island. And that's mostly it. So yeah, that'll be a blast from the past. Probably unlock some deeply forgotten memories I had. Oh, maybe, I don't know. Number 38. The genre is animation. Criterion doesn't have as much animation in it as it probably should, but I chose Watership Down. This is kind of that infamous movie about a society of hares and rabbits. It gets scary. Yeah, that's another one I have not seen in a long time. So yeah, a rewatch is in order. Definitely getting some new appreciation for it. Number 13, the genre is history. I chose a Wong Kar-wai movie from 2013 called The Grandmaster. Now, this is a movie about the Ip Man, as in that Ip Man, Jet Li's Ip Man, but this time he's played by Tony Lun, and it's a Tony Lun and Wong Kar-wai movie. It sounds beautiful. Tony Lun kicks some ass. How can you go wrong with that? Right, number 40. Pick from any of Guillermo del Toro's Twitter film recommendations, and he's made quite a lot. From such works like The Magnificent Ambersons by Orson Welles, or The Others, which came to Criterion late last year. And but I decided I wanted something kind of fantastical and magical that fits Guillermo's filmmaking sensibilities. So I went with the Terry Gilliam classic, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. I've not seen that. I've seen a bunch of other Terry's works, like Brazil, which is amazing, and 12 Monkeys. And yeah, very, very excited for that. I expect that movie to be very wacky and wild. All right, so the next couple of prompts, they are the decades, where I just had to watch a movie released from that any time and point in time in that decade. 41, the 1920s. I'm going with The Phantom Carriage. This is a Swedish mega classic where the specter of death drives a carriage, picks up some. And, he's picking people up. Also, 1930s. I was very, very tempted to watch Design for Living, which is this Ernest Lubitsch pre-Hays Code romantic comedy about a woman who doesn't want to choose between two men, and so she doesn't. But I went with Only Angels Have Wings. This is a Howard Hawks. I want to say it's a war movie with Cary Grant. I don't really know much about this, but I have seen nothing but praise from it from some people I follow on film Twitter. 1940s, I went with Le Corbeau. This is a movie by the great Henry Georges Clouzet, who is probably best known as being the director of movies of these tense thrillers like Diabolique and what's it called? Oh, help me out. It's The Wages of Fear. These great, really tight-fisted thrillers. And this is a weird serial killer mystery where it's almost sort of Jack the Ripper-ish, I think. Again, a lot of these are blind watches. I'll learn about him when I tell you about him. Number 44, the 1950s. A lot of good things I could have chosen. I could have chosen Richard III by Laurence Olivier. I could have chosen a Douglas Sirk melodrama like Written on the Wind. But I went with a movie that I have had for years now, and I have not watched Story of My Life. And it is the Robert Bresson movie Pickpocket. And it'd be nice after watching a bunch of Paul Schrader's God's Lonely Man movies that I finally watch the movie that they're all inspired by, Pickpocket. Number 45, 1960s. There was only one I wanted to watch. That is by the great genre master Samuel Fuller, The Naked Kiss. Number 46, the 1970s. Again, a lot of things I could have chosen from, but I went with Lady Snowblood. This is one of the big inspirations for Quentin Tarantino to make Kill Bill. Well, it's Japanese action movie. A badass lady with a badass umbrella, and she does kung fu in the snow. It looks and sounds awesome. Number 47, the 1980s. I wanted so bad to talk about Heaven's Gate, one of the most infamous bombs of the new Hollywood era. But honestly, I think every film list needs John Waters. That's why I'm going to be talking about Polyester, his send-up of Douglas Sirk melodramas with Divine. God, that's going to be fun. So 48, 1990s. I'm going with One False Move. This is a little underseen, like, southern noir mystery that really was not seen. Really did not seem to like get its day in the sunlight. It boasts likes of like Billy Bob Thornton and Bill Paxton, and hey, every movie with Bill Paxton makes it better. So 49, 2000s. There was only two that I really wanted to get into. I could have either done Inland Empire by David Lynch, but I went with an Edward Gain movie, Yee Yee. Why? Right, so number 50, the 2010s. We are almost done, and there are some that I haven't seen that I really could have, but there was one that really struck me. Something that no one talks about, especially online, especially on YouTube. But a movie that looked so fascinating to me, just by the trailers, a movie called This Is Not a Burial, It's a Resurrection. Very, very excited for that. Number 51, watch a movie from the 2020s. Not a whole lot to choose from, but I chose Moon Age Daydream. This is the recently made big David Bowie documentary. Kind of David Bowie documentary. Yeah, gotta watch that. Even if I'm not a movie guy, gotta watch that. And finally, number 52, rounding out the end, we have to watch any Criterion film from your watch list. I'm choosing Throwdown. This is a movie by Johnny To. It looks like a very meditative and introspective movie about masculinity and martial arts. And it's all moody and the neon, and it just looks exactly my speed. And yeah, that's what I got. I'll be posting my Letterboxd in the description. I'll be posting the original prompts in the description, so maybe you could follow along if you have a Letterboxd account to play. You could follow along. I cannot wait to do this. The plan is to get all of these made at least once a week, and God willing, that I will find the time. I made a New Year's resolution to really start cutting down my movie watch lists, because they are well over 1,000 titles, and I think I can be able, by the end of the year, I can get them down to 1,001. I know I can do it. So let's do it together. I can't wait to talk about all these movies. It's gonna be really fun. I think it's gonna be a cool thing for the channel. And I just love talking movies, and I love recommending movies. So please I'll keep watching movies. It's gonna be very exciting. Happy New Year, and keep watching movies. See ya.